to me.
Yeah, and ever since we were little, I've been listening to you complain. What are you bitching about?
What the hell?
Hey everybody, this is Rainbow Reviews. Today we're reviewing a movie called Antz. Now this is probably not what you were expecting after my week-long break, but I'm doing something kind of new here. I want to start a little series, not like an official series on my channel, but something where I review older Dreamworks movies, and movies that you've just kind of forgotten about, so you can get back into it and maybe even rewatch it and watch this review along with it if you want. But yeah, Antz was the very first film for Dreamworks Animation Studios, and I kind of forgot this movie existed, to be honest. It's not their flagship film, like a lot of, studios' first films are, but that's okay. I mean, long story short, I don't think it's terrible, but there's definitely some big glaring issues, but we'll get into that. So yeah, basically, DreamWorks Animation Studios was created because Jeffrey Katzenberg, who worked at Disney at the time, he had some creative differences and just some beef with the higher-ups. So then he left Disney to create his own animation company called DreamWorks Animation. And this was their first film. And, Antz is famous for coming out a month before A Bug's Life. And it was literally to kind of get back at Disney and, get on that insect movie kick before they did. And it is kind of a scummy thing, and I hate that their first movie their first movie for their studio was built on a principle like this. It just kind of sucks to see, and I mean, while the story is technically original, the idea for an ant-centric story is not. But without looking at the film's, history or the idea for it, how is the film actually? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it somewhere in between? Well, I'm kind of falling to that latter option. It's somewhere in between. So the story of Antz, as I understand it, is an ant named Zeep. Not a good name, by the way, but whatever, minor detail. An ant named Zeep feels insignificant in his colony. He feels like he doesn't matter, and because he's like a worker ant. In this movie, there are workers and there are soldiers, just two different kind of factions of ants given to them at birth, and if they don't fit it, well, too bad. It's a decent setup for a story, and really like the bulk of the main adventure really is him meeting with a Princess Bala, and they're trying to find like the promised land kind of. Which, now that I say it, the promised land, I mean, is this a secret prequel to the Prince of Egypt? I don't think so. But yeah, the story, it's kind of hard to say the rest of it without giving a lot away because it is not a very long movie. As I understand it, it's only about like an hour and a half, maybe even shorter, and which is, it's fine for a studio's first film, just trying to get concepts off the ground. But yeah, very short, very, very simple story with not a lot of memorable beats. So the whole story of the film, I mean, I'm not going to get into it too much in case you want to go back and rewatch this, but it's just not all that strong, Like, the story of feeling insignificant and wanting to be your own person, it's been done to death. And granted, this was 22 whole years ago, which maybe it was kind of original then, but going back and watching it now, it's just not. But as a reviewer, I have to judge the film based on like the time it came out. If I'm not reviewing something new, if I'm reviewing something old, I have to judge it based on 1998 terms. At least that's how I see it. It's only fair. So the story, not great, but there is another aspect that is decent, and it's the animation. So obviously the animation doesn't hold up today, but I mean, for the DreamWorks' first movie, it's not bad. It could have used some polishing here and there, but the character designs aren't awful to look at. And the design of like the entire ant colony city is actually pretty cool and inspired. I especially love this opening shot with this camera pan over like a statue of an ant holding up like a giant boulder, representing, the strength that ants really do have in the real world, which does work into this movie a bit. Which is actually something that Disney failed to work into their Antz movie, which pretty interesting. DreamWorks kind of, got it on this one. And another part of the animation that I want to cover is Dreamworks is always really good at showing scale and lighting effects, and it is really apparent even in this first film. There's a lot of really great shots, and I was surprised to see them. Now, the voice acting. I have big problems with the voice acting in this movie. It's pretty rough. I mean, Sylvester Stallone probably does the best job out of anyone here.
What are you bitching about?
Either that or the general.
It's your nature. But in spite of your limitations, you are going to finish this tunnel on schedule.
But yeah, old Rambo himself does do a pretty decent job, and he does play the kind of Rambo character. Although, in this movie, his character has a bit of a softer side, which is kind of a nice subversion, I guess. Zeep's voice actor, he's just... Man, he just sounds tired, and he doesn't show a lot of emotion. I'm sorry, man, whatever your name is, but I just wasn't feeling it. A lot of the other characters, the princess, their line deliveries were just kind of bland, I guess. They didn't feel natural. It kind of felt like they were reading from a script. Now, I want to start doing something with all of my reviews. I want to kind of go over like filmmaking techniques, to really bring something tangible out of each and every video. Like because every movie does at least one thing right, in my opinion. And, this movie, it's got some stuff, like I said before, some of the shots, Dreamworks is always really good at having pretty good animated cinematography and, lighting effects. And there is one scene in this movie where the ants are like on a shoe, and there's like a giant kid, really, normal size to him, I'm sure, and Dreamworks actually does a pretty good job of showing you the scale of, the paradise world that they're in. It's pretty cool. So, in conclusion, Antz, I know I didn't go over the whole story a whole lot, but I just wanted to keep this video a bit short, spoiler-free review, just to kick off the new series. So Antz, I'm going to give it like a 4 out of 10. It could have been better, but certainly could have been a lot worse, too. The animation doesn't hold up today, but by 1998 standards, it's alright, but it does not compare to A Bug's Life, let me tell you that much. Story, a bit weak and a bit too simple. Bug's Life was way more complex, and probably a lot longer, but, for their first film, I don't blame them for just kind of testing the waters with their animation and their story and their characters, so I give it a pass here. But yeah, film could have been built on better morals, not just trying to get a jab back at Disney. But those jabs will come a lot faster when we get to Shrek. So yeah, that was my review of Antz. Just a quick video that I wanted to get out there. I know I haven't really been posting for a little bit. I was working on a really, really ambitious video on the Back to the Future trilogy, and it just, that was my second try, and it just didn't pan out. Kinda sucks, but you know what? I really do like the outfits that came out. Yeah, outfits, plural. I had 3 I had an outfit for each film. It didn't work out, but maybe I'll post those outfits on my Instagram or something. So if you want to see those, Instagram, link will be in the description. And I also am still working on my Redbubble and my Letterboxd. If you want to check those out, of course, links will be in the description. And if you have any suggestions for other movies you want me to review, let me know down in the comments. And I think next video is probably going to be Prince of Egypt, and I'm going to make that video a lot better, I think, and not really a quick one like this one. So yeah, that was my review. Subscribe for more movie reviews, and I'll see you in the next one.